Tonight on ATV 360, crime in downtown Albany. Should the university be doing more to protect students who move off campus? Interracial dating. Is dating outside one's race still seen as outside the norm? The Did You Know posters. Are these posters an accurate representation of the Albany student body? And finally, for our debate of the day, the Park 51 Community Centre. Should the proposed New York City mosque near Ground Zero be built? Thank you and welcome to ATV 360. Welcome to our first episode of ATV 360. I'm Suzy.
I'm Kevin Fox.
And I'm Lisa Belli.
We're going to go to our first story of the day, crime in downtown Albany by our field reporter, Kimberly Elwood.
In the past couple of months, there have been shots fired, people mugged, and students jumped. On Wednesday, January 13th, two young adults in their apartment were shot in a planned robbery where masked men got away with $300, though thankfully the two men were not fatally injured. And almost a year and a half ago, UAlbany students lost one of their own when Richard Bailey was walking on South Lake. He was approached by strangers on bicycles and shot in the head. For a short while, the infamous murder sparked a city-wide initiative to promote security and safety in the streets of downtown Albany. With Albany crime increasing around students downtown, I stopped a couple of them to see how safe they feel and how effective law enforcement is in protecting students downtown. So if you're a student living downtown, always be careful walking around. Travel in numbers and always lock your doors. This is ATV 360. I'm Kimberly Elwood.
Thanks, Kimberly, for that great story. Now, Kevin, do you think it's the university's responsibility to protect students when they move off campus?
I think it is. Let me just say first off, we talked about all these stories last year. These are all old stories, and I argued the opposite position for each one, so this is going to be a little bit of fun for me. But I think absolutely the university needs to protect our students downtown. The crime rates are soaring downtown. We have twice the high rate of violent crime in Albany as we do in the rest of the country. There's so many students who live downtown. There's 57% of undergrads who are on campus and the rest are off campus. And they need someone to protect them. They're all mostly living in the student get area on Washington Ave and by Ontario and Quayle Street. It's a huge problem. There's already been 2 reported stabbings this year. It's awful.
Let me just tell you, I live downtown. I live on Yates Street. And basically, it's It's not as bad as they make it out to be. You only get the reports from the UPD about what happens. You don't get the reports about, oh, it was a nice day downtown. Nobody did anything. It was pretty boring.
You're talking about anecdotal evidence. There's more than just anecdotal evidence.
No. I understand that.
Rate,
but all, like Kevin Davis, yeah, you're correct. Okay, drunk people in downtown Albany at night, yeah, you know, that's not, like the Albany police are irrelevant because it's downtown. You choose to live off campus. If you get kicked off campus, that was your choice. You did something wrong. You're off campus, that's your choice. You're not choosing to live off campus for any other reason than you don't want to live on campus. And you can't say that it's less expensive because it's not. It's the same exact price that it is to live on campus.
Listen, I absolutely agree that this story did not portray the facts very well. And that's why I'm trying to give them to you now. It looks like Kimberly Elwood just went and interviewed her neighbors when she said she lived downtown. But like we've got some fairly solid statistics that back up. There's already, just in 2010, been 7 assaults and 46 burglaries that have happened to students.
Yes, but that's students who don't lock their doors, students who don't do this, don't do that, students who put themselves in dangerous situations. Lock your door at night. You're going to wake up if you hear someone trying to get into your apartment. And every single apartment, you don't just walk in and you're right in the apartment. You got to open one door and unlock the other door. It's a whole process to get in. So it's really not, the Albany police does its job. No matter if we say they do or they don't, they do their job. They are there patrolling every Friday and Saturday night. Parties get broken up. They're always all over the place when I'm downtown. I don't know if you guys walk around with your eyes closed, but they're all over the place, and they do their job. Yes, you know, we get to drink underage, but that's not what they're looking for. They would rather probably have us drink underage and run around finding people in black hoodies with knives running around stabbing people. You need to put yourself in a safe situation like UPD says.
Okay, so what are your final thoughts on the matter?
That it's not the university's responsibility at all. I chose to live downtown, and I also choose to live safely downtown, so.
Listen, you did a couple things there I just want to address. You know, we're not necessarily sure if these students are not protecting themselves, and that's why they're getting attacked. I think it's because Albany is a fairly high crime area, and we need the university's help. The university PD, which is a 60-person staff, needs to help the Albany PD because Albany taxpayers are paying a disproportionate amount to help protect us downtown.
Okay, thank you for your thoughts. We're going to go to our next story on interracial dating by Fayola Gasson.
NAACP hosted a program they call Fuzzy Lines, where a panel of students and others discussed the subject of interracial dating. Though you might think that in this day and age, dating outside your race isn't a big deal, it turns out it is still a big issue, not only on campus, but at home and society overall.
I feel like it's not really our generation that has a problem with it, it's more of the older crowd, and that's why we're all here in college to make that change and make it better, because not only is it, when it comes to race, it's not just, racism is not about color or your race, it's also about who you like, because in the gay community, that's not being accepted widely, so we have the power to change that.
My family would never be okay with you marrying because you're an African American, you're from America, and you're black. So I think it's a mindset that we have to break down our mindset that interracial problems are only black and white, because they're not. Because for some of my family, they were okay with me dating a white guy. If I brought a Chinese guy home, they would not be with that.
So it seems that many things have changed since the 1960s, but there still is a lot of work to be done. During the program, one student expressed that she felt this is a generation of change, and maybe with this generation, we can push people to be a little bit more open-minded. This is Fayola Garcon of ATV 360.
Thank you, Fayola. Now, Lisa, do you think dating outside one's race is becoming the norm here at Albany? Or?
Oh, I definitely think it is. I mean, we did this story last year, and it's definitely becoming a lot easier, a lot better, a lot not, like, it's not difficult to date outside your race anymore because you see it all over campus. This is a very diverse campus, so it's a great place to see as a melting pot that, you know, you're going outside your norm. You're not, like, worrying about what other people think just because of the fact that you see it all over the place, like, and it's just not weird anymore.
Well, I mean, I don't think I think it's becoming not weird, but it's still a taboo. I mean, maybe not in this area. Albany campus, we're a very progressive campus. It's really nice, but there's only 5.4% of interracial married couples in the country right now. You go to places like Alabama, deep south, there's still segregation down there. I mean, it's not enforced by law or any kind of deal like that, but it's inadvertent segregation, and interracial dating is not even, that hasn't even been considered yet. That's still too far of a question to even consider.
I mean, I just think that people need to open their minds a little more, because up here in New York, we're more liberal, we're more open-minded, we accept things a lot easier than they do down south. And yes, I understand there's past history with all the stuff that happened in the South, but it's not outside the norm anymore. It's not weird to see people walking down the street. You have celebrities like Nick Cannon and Mariah Carey. They're married, they're interracial. Nick Cannon is totally African American, and Mariah Carey is white, black, and Hispanic. How did all those come together? Oh, well, there has to be interracial in the past. Like, it's not as weird, and I think it's more of the past generations, like our parents and our grandparents, who were telling us that it's outside the norm, and it's not so much our thinking. So for us right now, right here, it's definitely not.
So what are your thoughts on Ashley Chen, who is in the piece, when she said...
She said it was one of the most difficult things she's ever done was having to tell people about dating someone from a different race.
Yeah, well, no, she was just saying that she got support from her family, and not support, and like, kind of her friends weren't, like, against it, but they were questioning it more. So do you think, what are your last thoughts on this?
I just think that you need to look at the whole picture and not just people from Albany who have, you know, their one story. There's celebrities. There's Nick Cannon, Mariah Carey. There's Seal and Heidi Klum. That is totally interracial, and that's just, celebrities are icons. They're people that some people look up to, and not that they're the best people to look up to, but it's not outside the norm anymore.
I think you're partially right. I think it is changing. There's Gallup polls that most Americans do approve of interracial dating, but I don't think it's outside the norm yet. I think we're getting there. There was a study by a guy named Yancey. He said 17% of white adults have dated outside their race. It goes much higher when you look at other races, but whites, who are the vast majority of this country, just haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, well, thank you. We'll be right back after these messages from Albany Student Television.
Swag. Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Welcome back to ATV 360. Now we're going to go to our third story of the day about the Did You Know posters from our field reporter Jessica Smith.
When one hears the word college, the first thought will most likely be drinking and partying, especially when it comes to SUNY Albany. The University at Albany has developed a reputation as one of the #1 party schools in the nation. In 2006, the university's counseling center decided to take a stand against the infamous reputation and began anonymously surveying students about their social activities. The results they found consisted of statistics such as 95% of UAlbany students take steps to be safe in drinking situations. I asked students how they felt about the validity of statements such as this one. A similar reaction was given to the statistic of 76% of UAlbany students are non-smokers.
Thank you, Jessica. Kevin, do you think the posters are an accurate representation of the student body?
You know, that's pretty complicated. They're a relevant statistical study. They got a representative sample of the student body.
Let's take a side.
I'm taking a side. Just give me a second, Lisa. All right,
Take
I'm
a
working
side.
on it. But the way these phrase these things are ridiculous. 77% of UAlbany students drink 0 to 2 times a week. When was the last time I talked about my drinking and I said I drink 0 to 2 times a week? And then you can't accurately represent the student body that way.
You can, but you can. The University Counseling Center came to 2 of my classes last year, and I got surveyed, and they also came and talked about the Did You Know posters. Did you ever have a presentation in your class about them?
I had a presentation, I had them give a survey, and I noticed something also. They only do the surveys in class, also skewing the data to people who go to class. When was the last time you went to BITM 215?
Let's not talk about that. But in the story's also a little skewed. Kimberly Yipping, she was interviewed about the story. She says that 95% of students take steps to be safe in drinking situations, and she says that it's untrue, that everyone drinks and they get wasted. Yeah, everyone drinks and they get wasted. That's not what the question's asking. The question's asking if people are safe when they're drinking. When's the last time you saw somebody run purposely in the middle of the road to get hit by a car, or someone walk by themselves very like, hey, come stab me? No, people take steps to be safe in drinking situations. I've been at Chubby's and girls have been trying to walk home. First, the bouncers, they don't let them leave. Second, I'm going to walk her home. I walked her back to Alumni. I'm a great Samaritan.
Well, I think you're making my point for me. 95% of UAlbany students take steps to be safe in drinking situations.
My point.
No kidding. You put that on a survey. You say you try to be safe while you're in drinking situations. Of course you're going to say yes. That's not a good way to represent the attitudes and the feelings of the student body.
Yeah, but when you take a survey, Kevin, there's no need to lie. It's not like you're putting your name on the survey. There's a very, very little amount. 5 people did say that they're not safe in drinking situations.
5 people?
5% of people said that they're not safe in drinking situations. And do you understand that 5% of people, there's a lot of people at UAlbany, and they took 1,000 people. You only need 400 people, according to Gallup, to have a survey be correct, out of 300 million like they do in our country for the presidential elections, for all these different kinds of surveys they do. We did 1,000 for the 18,000.
Of course, but having...
So, wait, can we have our last thoughts for the debate?
Basically, the Did You Know posters are correct, and if you look at the statistics, everything's skewed, but it's true. And you gotta look at the statistics and not about what you feel, because...
Well, I mean... Just listen to you can listen to the phrases, and if you ever heard of push polling, it's the exact same thing, except they're trying to display a more positive message.
Okay, stay tuned. We're going to have some messages from Albany Student Television. Stay tuned for the debate of the day.
been here for an hour. All we need is a stupid slogan for the show.
How about the sketchy character show better than chugging a bottle of hot sauce?
Yes, it is. Give me another one.
The sketchy character show. It makes you poop.
Does it?
It's like an energy drink for your humor!
Okay, I was thinking a little less roid rage, a little more humor.
The sketchy character show, because porn isn't free.
Yeah, yes it is. Haven't you ever heard of the internet?
The sketchy character show, we don't have a slogan.
Jimmy, we haven't heard from you. I know you're sitting on a gem over there.
Okay. How about the sketchy character show? The most making show on Earth.
What the
And now, the debate of the day.
Welcome back to ATV 360 for our debate of the day. Should the proposed mosque near Ground Zero be built? Lisa, your thoughts?
No, no, and no, it should not be built. I don't care about the politics. I don't care about the legalities. It is no. This mosque should not be built just because of the fact that it is totally morally wrong to build this mosque. And I am just not the person if you want to hear that it's supposed to be built.
Well, morally wrong, I'm going to get into that in a second. I don't know how it's morally wrong. I think it's the exact moral right thing to do. First Amendment, first of all. Second of all, it's going to be the biggest counter to extremism.
First Amendment? Explain.
Freedom of religion.
Yes, okay.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I thought
you got to keep
that
it
would kind of get everybody's.
everybody.
Okay, so freedom of religion is the big thing. Obviously, it's their right to build it there. They own the building. They can build it wherever the heck they want.
Kevin, who cares if they own the building? Who cares that it's legally right and they have the permits to build the building? Who cares? That's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about the legalities of it. We're not talking about it being politically correct. We're talking about the fact that 2 of our beautiful buildings got smashed and torn down. Innocent lives were lost for no reason. And I'm not saying it's the whole Muslim community's fault, because it's not the whole Muslim community's fault. But why should we allow something that's basically going to rub people's noses in the fact that we got attacked, but now we're going to let a mosque be built there because we don't care?
Because it's going to do the exact opposite.
No, it's not. Do you see the feelings of the people? Do you see the feelings of these people?
We're all New Yorkers. We were all deeply affected by 9/11. We don't need to get into that.
Well, were you personally affected by 9/11? Because if you weren't personally affected, then I would understand. But you need to not think politically and legally about it. You need to think about the moral righteousness about it.
I'm thinking about the moral righteousness. I think it is the morally right thing to do to build this community center.
Right?
That is, let's just get it right. It is not at Ground Zero. It is about 6 regular Manhattan blocks away from Ground Zero. You won't be able to see it from the Freedom Tower. You won't be able to see it, the Freedom Tower from the community center. And it's the biggest combat of extremism ever. The leader of the proposed community center has been one of the greatest advocates for religious tolerance and religious interfaith workings that I've ever known in a Muslim leader.
Yeah, but
excuse me.
Imam Rauf, his whole reasoning behind this that I've read on park51.org on the website, all about the mosque, I read that he bought it for $4 million and he's looking to sell it for $15 to $20 million. So he's not even looking at it as, oh, I want religious tolerance, because those are the things he says. The things that he's doing, actions speak louder than words. And he doesn't care about all the lives that were lost on 9/11. He doesn't care about the fact that let them build it. Why do they have to build it so close to Ground Zero? Why can't they build it so far away? I know it's a religious center and it's supposed to be, they're going to have a 9/11 memorial inside of it, but it's the Muslim religion, people dancing in the streets overseas because our 2 towers and innocent lives were lost.
It's because people think that it was the Muslim religion that attacked us on 9/11. It's because that perception is still out there that this community center needs to be built. It wasn't the Muslim religion. Saying it was the Muslim religion is like saying Timothy McVeigh was representing all of Christianity when he did all those bombings. It doesn't work that way. This was the
Timothy McVeigh is one person. Yeah, it was extreme. It was terrorism. It was terrorism in our country, and it was wrong.
Tiny amount of hijackers who caused this awful attack.
Why don't we discuss how you're saying that it's morally right to build something so close to the hearts of all Americans? So you're basically saying, well, I don't really care what happened because they should have the the right to build their mosque wherever they want to build. Is it going to be morally right to build a strip club right next to an elementary school or a slaughterhouse right next to a farm? Is that morally right? No, so you're not going to do it.
Don't compare a mosque, which is a place of worship for millions of Americans, to a strip club or whatever else they said.
No, but I'm trying to put it in perspective for you that people's lives were lost, and it was the people who had the background of the Muslim religion. I'm not saying it was all Muslims. I'm not saying that it was the whole Muslim race and religion that did this. I'm saying that that's what happened, and why would you crush people's hearts? And if you look at the ratings, about 99% of Americans do not want this mosque.
Okay, final thoughts on the mosque.
This mosque better not be built. I will be there rallying if it is built because it's wrong. It's morally wrong. It's a disgrace to our country to even think that someone's gonna 6 blocks away gonna build a mosque.
And Kevin?
It's precisely because of attitudes like Lisa's that this mosque needs to be built, and to show Americans and change the perception that this was not Islam that attacked us on 9/11.
Okay, well, thank you for watching our first episode of ATV 360. I'm Suzy.
I'm Kevin Fox.
And I'm Lisa Ballard.
Please stay tuned for ATV weather.